Well, here, I'm trying a new modem out. Hopefully we got some better speed. Tonight, while the meeting's gonna go on, I'm gonna work on some carbon fiber parts. We got anybody in here? I thought I heard something.
Hello,
Hello, who we got there?
it's the Bob.
Oh, Mr. Hunt.
How you doing, Spark?
All right.
Have you flown you to Bird yet?
No. Gee, it's too damn cold out for me.
Yeah, it's getting a little warmer around here. We're supposed to be up into the 60s a little bit this week. Nice.
Yeah, we were at 60 today, but our park is pretty, the snow and the water, it's pretty crappy. So
Yeah, it'll be a while before it's stabilized.
yep. Tonight I gotta make
You talking
Jody.
on something new? Hello? We're hung up. You there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Are you starting on something new?
Yeah, I'm making a fuel tank.
Oh, that's cool.
I guess Gary was coming in and we had a little glitch there.
Put you there. I'll hang up. Hi, Gary.
Hi,
How are
you
you?
guys there? Oh, we're doing pretty good today. Yeah.
Well, I don't know where everybody's at yet, but I'm sure they'll come in.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
all the important people are here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, maybe our winter weather's going to leave us for a while.
Good.
So we're ready for planes now, right? Mhm. About time to fly here.
Yeah, my new airplane's done and I had to know where to fly it.
Hmm. Well, what a chatty group we are, huh?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try out some stuff called Chem Lease. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
It's about $280 a gallon.
Wow.
And it's
Pretty much like gas.
yeah, there's no wax, just a liquid you rub on it, put 5 coats on this thing. Professional mold release stuff.
What is that, a tank mandrel?
Yes.
What, did Danny do that for you?
No. This is Wendy's old tank mandrel.
Oh, boy, it's shiny. You can see the reflection of your airplane in there. Well, now you're standing in the way, but
Oh yeah.
you can see the airplane in there. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
I polished it on my buffer.
oh. It's hung up again. He doesn't work very fast, does he, Gary?
No, he's taking his time, and
You got hung up there. You were like
yeah,
frozen in time.
Now, this is a new modem, so I'm hoping that it's faster, but it sounds like it's worse.
Hmm. There he is. I fell.
Hey there.
I felt.
Hello. Well, I'll get you in a minute. For some reason it disappeared. Where'd it go?
I think it could be the internet.
It must be. This thing been difficult tonight. There it went. Jeez. Anyway, how is everybody?
Doing good.
Well,
Mr. Hunt, sir, you look cold.
nah. Actually, it's warm out here. It's in the 50s tonight. It's going to be up in the 60s tomorrow.
It was 61 here, they said. I never saw it, but they're saying tomorrow's going to be 62. I don't know. We'll see.
Where do you live exactly?
I am just south of Winston-Salem. When you came to Hobby Park, you were about 12 miles from the house.
Okay. How far are you from Charlotte?
Hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. My brother lives just east of Charlotte, about, well, 25 minutes east. A little place called Waxhaw. You ever hear of
Oh,
that?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Been there many times.
He lives in
A good
Waxhaw.
friend lived down there.
Mhm.
Next time you come down and see your brother, holler. We'll get to go out and do some flying. I'll
Yeah.
bring some of my planes. I have one or two that you will recognize.
Well, I'm not going to be going to my brother's anytime soon, but I'm going to be going to Virginia pretty quick here. So
What's in Virginia?
I'm picking up a pedal steel guitar,
Ah, cool. What part of Virginia?
Orange, Virginia,
That's a good ride. That's a help. That's a
about
healthy
5
ride.
hours from me.
Yeah, about that. Almost that for me.
Uh,
I had a friend that lived just outside Orange. Then he moved to Nebraska. I don't know what post.
Kind of a wide spot in the road,
Yeah, really. Well,
kind of like my town. We have new. You are now entering, and you are now leaving is on the same sign.
yeah, that's all right. The worst one I ever saw, and it's no joke. I was going to see my son-in-law up at his place and drive a truck back. They were coming back to North Carolina, and they had a sign that said "End of Earth, 6 miles, Houghton 12." And Houghton is a wide spot in the road. Man, when it gets cold up there, everybody goes to the college to take a shower because everybody else's lines are not deep enough and they freeze.
Wow.
That's the craziest place. I couldn't live up there. It's too remote for me. But
Yeah, our town is really small. Our town is so small. We recently had the whole town carpeted.
yeah. That's all right. The town I grew up in was so small we had to bring sunshine in a wheelbarrow. Siloam, North Carolina. That place is little. We used to have a post office, a general store, and a gas station. Then they combined the gas station and the general store, and then it burnt down. So now we got a post office. I'm serious. That's a tiny little town. Oh Lord. But anyway, it's pretty neat. How you been, Bob? Staying out of trouble?
Yeah, well, I've had a lot of leg and back issues, as you know, and I just got through having bilateral epidural shots, and we're hoping that's going to help a little
Ooh.
bit. But
I hope it helps because it hurts to get them.
it's not good.
Yeah, been there and done that. That's
Yeah,
not
right.
fun.
I don't want to get into health issues.
Yeah, I know.
Boring and depressing.
Yeah. Oh Lord. Well, well, behind me. I've got a fishing rod I had finished and was ready to epoxy, and guy wanted to look at it, and he says, well, look at this. This is just thread around this. And he kept rubbing it. So now I have one to replace because it started unwrapping. I said, don't have epoxy on it yet. Take it easy. Well, look at this one on the end. And he just and takes it right off. I said,
Huh.
that's an hour's work. He's going to look at it and say, give me that before you destroy it. Lord, I'm telling you, some people just really,
I used to build all my own fishing. Red Reinhardt and I used to do that together. And
yeah,
my brother, we had a place called Reed Tackle where we go, we get the ferrules and we get things
yeah.
and I used to tie flies and streamers and stuff. I was really big into it.
Oh yeah, that's what that box over my shoulder back there is. That's all. It's like your flight box, except that's got
Fly tying stuff,
fly tank stuff in it. And
Malibu and
that's not a tenth of it.
Hotel and all that stuff. Yeah.
That's a hobby you get into, and stuff multiplies quickly because people here, you need this, you need this, you need this, you'll need this.
Yeah.
One
Little
thing
lights and-
somebody, the one thing somebody gave me that I'm really tickled they gave me, and I don't think he knew what he was giving me, but he gave me a piece of jungle cock. It's a bird feather. It's a piece of a bird, actually, skin and all, but
Mhm.
got bird feathers on it. It look like it's got little eyeballs on it.
Yeah.
And it is the coolest thing to make streamers out of, but it has to be a very nice streamer since those things are worth about $5 a feather.
It's really a kick to tie your own stuff and then catch a fish on it. That's
It
really
really is. And the only thing bigger kick was catching a fish on a fly tied on a rod I built, and that was a kick,
yeah.
and it was a lot of fun. Everybody else was catching brook trout, and I caught a 20-inch brown. That blew everybody's mind. What did you do? I said, well, for the first thing, I'm using a lot bigger fly than you're using. But anyway, then I went up Cherokee, and I've never believed in paying for a guide. I said, just tell me where to go. And there was half a dozen people standing around there, and he says, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You'll never find anything. So there's this little 16-year-old girl. I kid you not. The chick was gorgeous. She said, I'll take you and put you on the fish. And I'll do it for a lot less than the other people because I'm just trying to get started. Well, her brother was there, and he's supposed to be the best one there. So he told her where to take me and all that stuff, and then she took off, and we took off, grabbed a couple of rods, and took off through the woods. Well, when they say it's a bit of a hike, it's about 3 miles. But we got up there, and I told her I wanted to catch a 20-inch fish on a size 22 fly. Size 22 fly is not a quarter of an inch long, 3/16 maybe. So we go up there, and she hands me the fly to use up there, and I tried to tie it on, and I said, "Dadgum!" So I flipped my visor down, and I'm looking at the thing. I still can't see the hole in that fly to put that gum piece of leader through. Let me do it. Thank you. So she tied it for me, and then she told me, go right out there in the middle and throw it just above that ripple, which is just where there's a rock and the water comes around it, and let it drift along that. Just let it drift. The third drift, I had my 22-inch fish, and I landed that thing and got it in, and I think she was more tickled than I was, but I went ahead and paid her what her brother would have made, and I gave her a good tip, and she gave me a hug, and she says, the next time you want to come up here, you call, she gave me her card. She said, you give me a call ahead of time and I'll clear out a spot for you.
Got a
So
little business going.
she's sweet as she could be. Yeah. And I've told several of my buddies about them and about her, and everybody that's gone up there and gone out with her has caught fish and thanking me for putting me on to her because the other guides are not that good and you can't afford her brother. He's expensive, but Lord, it's a lot of fun.
How you doing, Howard?
Okay. I was kind of looking for the model airplane talk, but
We're going to get back to that right now.
Back airplanes here in a minute.
We're going to get back to that right now. I saw something online today that
There's something fishy about model airplanes.
Yeah, that's true. I saw something online today that I thought was right interesting. Rick Huff designed a vectoring.
Yeah.
That
He had
thing.
he had it on his twin at the Nationals.
Yeah, the one that planted. But
I had it on both of them. I flew the BF 109 or 110 before he planted that. It's pretty interesting.
cool deal. Well, anyway, Will had one on a Ringmaster, and his grandson flew it online. I saw it online today. I'm telling you what, that's a turn in this Ringmaster I've seen yet.
Yeah.
That
You got to fly one with the vector thrust. It's amazing. It's interesting to note that on the twins, it doesn't improve the cornering that much because the thrust is so far back. It does, though, however, improve the transition in the rounds, almost so you can, on a point, you can get the airplane to transition on a point.
Wow.
But on a single engine airplane, because it's out much further forward, it does improve the corners dramatically.
Wow. I'll
But
tell you
not on
what.
the twins so much. And the twins, it improves the round.
Well, I've seen his grandson fly a lot. I've seen a lot of the videos. I've never seen him do a triangle like that before.
Hmm.
Man, his triangles were bang. I said, wow,
And then
that's
locks
nice.
too. It turns and locks.
Yeah,
Everything it's supposed to do. It's pretty amazing.
I'll have to build a something and put one of those on it. I don't even know where to get one, but I'm going to find one.
I got a bunch of them. He sent me down a whole bunch of them, set up for twins,
Yeah,
for the 23 millimeter motors.
that'd be cool. I'll have to get up there and see some of your stuff one of these years. I've meant to do that for.
Do it pretty fast because I'm getting rid of a lot of my stuff.
Oh, well, if you get ready in the planes, let me know. I
I
could.
got a couple of airplanes for sale. I just sold one today, but I got another one for sale. The USA Ama's for sale.
Ah,
That's like really good airplane.
yeah, I would want one
I
of
sold
your.
I sold the Crossfire today.
You sold Crossfire. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Well, listen, somebody should get some use out of them. I don't
Well,
want to see them sit around and rot. That's not a good thing.
yeah.
I'll keep a couple, 3 airplanes, maybe 4, and something to fly if my legs get better. But I'm just so I don't see airplanes sitting around rotting. I want to see somebody get some use out of them.
Yeah. I've got 2 or 3 in the basement. I'm gonna
I
see
got
about
one before
wearing
we
out.
get off the fishing thing. I got one thing I got to tell you about.
Yeah.
So you hear about the guy that wanted to go ice fishing, and he was really rich, really very well off. So he went out and got all the expensive stuff. He got the tip up rod and the little heated seed and the thing that cuts the hole in the ice. And he gets out there and he's out there for hours, not a bite, nothing. And this little kid comes along, about a 10-year-old kid, chops a hole in the ice, has a twig with a line on it. He starts pulling walleye out of the lake, like stacking them up like cordwood. And the guy just can't figure out why he's not catching fish, and the kid is. So finally, he breaks down, swallows his pride, goes over to the kid. He says, "Excuse me, son." He says, "How are you catching all these fish?" And the kid goes, "Mm-hmm."
Oh, I heard this one.
I says, "What?" He says, "Mm-hmm. I can't understand you." And the kid goes, "You got to keep the worms warm."
Oh Lord. Oh Bob. Oh, we'll forgive you for that one. My goodness. That's pretty good. Yeah, I tell you. There's a lot of tricks to it, but it's just like flying. There's a lot of tricks to model flying, model building for that matter. But
See, we got both Steve Smiths in here now.
that vector thrust thing today, though, that was the most interesting thing I've seen. And while I'd heard of it, I just had not seen one. And he shows it up close and moves it.
He wanted to put it on the twins, but of course they were already finished. So
Yeah.
he could get into the wing to put linkage in there. So Robbie suggested, my son suggested, he said, "Why don't you just, like they do on RC ailerons, put a little pad into the bottom of the flap and mount a little horn there, and then run a push rod forward through the back of the nacelle up to the motor mount and hook it up." And that's what he did. So the flaps actually actuate the motors.
Well, that's cool.
And it worked to perfection. It really did.
Which way does the motor point when you give it up? Which
When
way?
you give up elevator, the motor goes up too.
Okay.
Yeah, Tim just talked about that yesterday, I think, and he thinks that maybe straight up and down is not the optimal angle for that. Maybe they should go off to the side a little bit.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you have to fly one, Howard. I flew it. I got to tell you, he has it pretty well optimized. He figures 10 degrees of movement is about maximum, and I've flown a couple of them now, 3 of them, and 2 of the single engines and 1 of the twin engines, and it's pretty impressive. It's more impressive in the cornering in the single engine airplanes because the thrust is out forward for cornering. But on the twins, it just makes the transitions in the round maneuvers almost, effortless. On a point, you can transition the airplane. There's no hang on in the point. There's no flattening in the transition point. Very, very good.
I'd like to get a hold of one of those to put on a stinger or what as a twister or something and just play with it.
He bought some carbon channel stock,
Yeah.
rectangular stock, and he cuts them out of that. I can go get one if you want me to go see it. I can go get one and show you what it looks like.
Oh, I'd like to see it.
I'd like to see it.
I'd like to see it. I just don't
Thank
know about Bob Walker.
Thank you.
So
I wonder if it loads the handle in from that pressure. I want to fly.
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know either. I bet they'll have them at Triple Tree and Brodex.
Oh, I'm sure if he's there, that's what'll be on his new plane. Rick will be there. I'm sure. He's the one developing this thing. He'll have a new airplane.
Anything you can do to make it easier to fly is a plus, y'all.
Oh yeah. Well, Rick is very sharp, and he's been playing with us for a while. He's the guy that showed up at Brodak a few years ago with a twin engine Pathfinder with retracts. I thought this man has lost his mind. And I went over and looked at the plane, and I really studied the airplane and came home and started to build one, but I didn't do it yet. Drew it up, but I didn't build it. But Rick is very sharp. I mean, he is very sharp.
Yeah, I collared him at the Nats and had him give me a bunch of. It's out in the shop. I'd read it to you.
Yeah, it's pretty slick. It's pretty slick. How are you, Howard? Hadn't seen you in a while.
All right.
Good deal. Very good deal.
Marky's measuring something. He's getting serious.
Yeah.
I know.
Got a micrometer out.
I noticed he's getting pretty intense. It looks like he's grabbed a micrometer and he's over getting down, getting funky.
I bet he's building a tank or something. Be my guess.
I think that's it. Yeah. You still building tanks, Bob?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I thought you gave that up for Lent.
No, it's not Lent yet.
Well, I know. I thought he was getting an early start. He'd give it up. I've got a couple things that I wish I could give up for Lent, and this is just not even March yet.
Yeah.
Just not worry about it till next Christmas.
This is Chem Lease. It's a professional release agent. No wax. Giving that a try.
Oh, no wax?
All right, that'll be good. I went to go get some of that putty that you take a positive and push down into it and then just let it dry. Of course, you have to put release agent on the positive and push down into it. And when you pull it out, you got a perfect rubber mold of wheel pan or cowl. Wendy used to use it all the time.
Comes from Mold Max.
Mold Max. Is that what they call that stuff?
That's where it comes from. Look up Mold Max. I got a YouTube channel. I got a business. They're out of Michigan.
All right. Thank you.
Silicone rubber.
All right. Can you make me big there, Spark? All right, here we go.
Well, he's even got a motator on it. That's something.
10 degrees, but you get a lot of movement out of 10 degrees.
You can adjust it. You put it the arm and you move it, whatever it is, you move it up or down until you get the you want.
But you know, when you get to 10 degrees, the prop's that far pointing to pivot, it's gonna pull that way, dude.
Oh yeah, no, in a big hurry too.
It'll do it right now. That's brilliant.
Isn't that neat?
Yes, it is.
Rick's a pretty sharp dude.
He is. I want to fly his airplane.
And he cuts this out of a piece of channel stock. You can see how he could cut that.
Carbon fiber. Or it looks like carbon fiber.
Cool.
Good show.
I'd like to have
This
one.
one is for yeah, it's a 23 millimeter. So this one here, this is without the motor on it.
I'd like to have one of those for 28. Try it on something.
We have them on 28 millimeter. The twins are all 28 millimeters, but I'm building the smaller twins. So he did one for a couple for me. These are match sets, you know.
Oh, okay.
One has a motor in it, one doesn't.
That's sharp, Bob.
That neat.
Yeah.
You could, yeah, that's, I want to play.
Me too. That is sharp.
Yeah. Well, talk to Rick. I'm sure he'll make them for you. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure he'd make them for you. But
The 2814 you use in a twin.
I was using, well, the bigger twins. I was using the 2814 870s, and these are the 2310 900s. This is the 23.
so a 900 is going to run 9,000 RPM. What RPM do you expect to run on that?
Yeah, well, I've never really actually tacked it, but I'm running on a 4S system, and it runs great. You could probably run it on a 5S at 900 kV, but a 4S is probably a little better, it's more efficient, and it runs great.
How many cells do you use for the 2814?
How many what?
Cells.
I'm using on the 2814s. I'm using 5S. Excuse me. I started out using 5S 2800 lipos, and now I'm using 2600 light ions.
Still 5 cells.
A 6S.
6 cells.
A 6L 2600 light ion.
2600.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Wow.
18650?
Works great.
18650s?
Yeah. I don't know if I think, no, I think these are the previous cells. These are the older ones. I have to go down and get one to
But
look
the
at.
size is the usual, right?
Yeah.
Just wimpier. Okay.
Mhm. I can go get one if you want. That's a long.
No,
It's three stories down, so
no, don't do that unless you need the exercise.
yeah, not for my legs.
Well, we'd rather you stay there so we can ask you more questions.
Well, I mean, all I can tell you is, I mean, I can't give you a quantitative analysis, but I can give you a qualitative analysis. The rounds are smoother. The transition in eighths on both of them, the single engine and the twin engine, but it's particularly the twin engine, is almost effortless to hit right on a spot and transition. So you don't have that little hang on that you get sometimes with airplanes in the transition point. The single motor airplane corners incredibly hard and then locks right on target every time. Twins don't corner. They don't have as much in a corner, but they corner really well anyway. So I think for a single engine airplane, it's probably you're going to get more benefit out of it.
Very neat.
It's a neat
Well,
little deal.
Not to change the subject, but if I don't ask while I'm thinking about it, I'll forget it. And we got a brain trust here. Three smart guys.
Trust me, there are no brains here.
Does anybody remember the name of that place in Texas where you get the canopies?
Canopies.
Oh gosh, Al Raby used to.
You need something. You need a canopy drawn.
Yeah, I need a canopy. I need to get some plastic canopies.
Do you have a mold?
Do what?
Do you have a mold?
No, I don't have the mold. I was trying to get this place. I got the ones I got last time from them, and I was just going to order
Did
some.
Tank do that?
Well, Tank did the
He did balsa for sure.
He did the balsa, but there's a company in Texas.
I'll be
Did
darned.
a bunch of canopies for me.
I
But
did not know.
the dadgum label, when I cut the box open, the label ripped.
Hmm.
And it came off the box, and I have misplaced it. So
What size canopy are you looking for?
Well, P-51 Mustang. That and a
What length?
Oh God, I had to look that up. I don't remember. But the other one I'm looking for is um oh Jesus, I can't even think of it.
I have some canopies. I actually have one that was Dave Mitchell did off a mold that Mike Palco did for the Mustang that I designed. The one, that yellow Mustang.
Yeah,
I have I have a couple of those that Dave Mitchell did.
I have that set of wings to that one downstairs. I'm going to build. I decided to change it a little bit because it no longer needs a pipe tunnel. So I was thinking about taking the pipe tunnel out of it, but
What airplane has a pipe tunnel?
your Mustang.
Oh, well, yeah. We never built one with. Well, I think Banjock built one with a pipe.
Banjock did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had one with a pipe. Mikey went right to electric.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to do one similar to Mikey's.
Mhm.
Phil, I doubt it's any help, but by any chance was that place Park Flyer Plastics?
It might be.
If you have a mold, Dave Mitchell, he's pretty accommodating. He'll do every time I make a mold instead of a I took made a female mold out of it, smooth on pliable stuff, and then I poured a aluminum filled epoxy actual thing to mold her out. And I sent it up to him asking if he'd do me a couple of canopies. He sent me back enough canopies that I could kit the airplane.
Hmm.
I got stacks of canopies.
Oh, cool.
That's what he does for a living, to fluorocarbon stuff, molding.
Fluorocarbon, we're back to fishing now.
Yeah. I got to meet him at the Nats one year, and he's an interesting fellow.
He's a cool guy. You know what he's been doing when he hasn't been, because he hasn't been around flying? He's
Uh-uh.
one of the world's foremost authorities on land sailing.
Oh Lord.
With the kite and the buggy?
Yep.
The three-wheel buggy. Yeah,
Yep.
that's cool.
He goes out to the desert and he goes to the nationals. I think he runs it. He runs the nationals. He's quite a guy.
I saw one of those things go by one time, and it was up on one wheel, well, two wheels, and it rode almost from the time you realized what it was out of sight up on two wheels, and the guy just tickled to death.
Yep.
Thought he was out of his mind. That thing was hauling. But
I bet Steven's right. That Park Flyer Plastics is North Richland Hills, Texas. I bet you Steve hit it on the head.
Hmm.
And they got lots of canopies.
Like a blind squirrel and an acorn
You found it, dude.
every once in a while.
Terry Mitchell says that's what it is on the chat.
Well, thank you, sirs. I'm tickled because I want to get that.
C114 is probably what you want. C114 is probably it. They got pictures of lots of
Yeah.
them. Steve's right. That's it. I bet you.
Wouldn't doubt it a bit. Then I gotta find out if has anybody heard if Igor has his new timers available yet.
Currently,
I want a couple of those.
Howard would know.
You think so? I don't know.
I texted him a while back and he said they weren't quite ready yet. He wasn't happy with them yet. But he said wait till Thanksgiving, and then it was Christmas, and I haven't gotten back in touch with him because I'm not flying right now.
Hey guys, I'm going to turn this over to our night host because I'm having internet connections. So, Steve, do you know how to shut the YouTube off?
No.
When you go down to the bottom where it says end or whatever,
Yeah.
okay, when you poke that, it'll have a little man with a door. It'll say end YouTube, end on
Okay.
YouTube. So ever how long you stay on, just go ahead and end it. But I'm having some severe problems with internet today,
All right.
so I'll make you the host.
I was having problems like that last week,
Mm-hmm.
Friday night.
Going flying tomorrow, Bob.
Me too.
Have fun.
Hey, it's going to be 50 degrees at noon.
Yeah. If I don't do laundry here quick, I won't have nothing to wear.
Oh, you
We
still
don't wanna
haven't done
see that.
laundry?
Yeah, we do laundry once a week, but we haven't done it in a couple of weeks because of the crappy
Yeah.
weather.
We do indoors.
What's that?
We do ours indoors now.
Yeah, well, we do too. But we have to go somewhere because our wash machine's broke.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Did you bring a rock inside to beat it against, or?
Yeah.
I went and put some stuff in a washing machine one time, and the guy told me which one to use, so I put all this white shirts and stuff in this machine and went to wash it. The guy who was in it before me had dyed a bunch of stuff dark blue.
Ruined stuff.
Oh, I ruined a bunch of shirts. I come out of there, I said, you told me to use this washer. And he says, let me be right back. And he went and got me a card, and sure enough, they paid for every one of my shirts. There's
Wow.
9 shirts, 8 shirts, or something like that in there. They paid for every one of them. So, and I got to keep my nice baby blue shirts.
Hmm.
They weren't worth a darn for wearing for what I bought them for, but they were good for wearing to work in.
Well, did you see Steve's email, Phil?
No, I haven't.
We were talking about you getting,
Oh, the one about the getting zeroed.
yeah.
I answered it.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, he got it and he responded.
Well,
I
I
know he
thought
got it.
I felt like we understood it properly when we were talking about it last week, but it seemed like you were telling us we had it wrong.
No, it was supposed to be. If you come back in, if you get blown out and you come back into it and you're still in the same maneuver, you come back around, then you just basically you get screwed on that particular one. But since there's 2 of them, the other one still counts, and you can get a score. Usually they'll give you a pretty decent score because everybody's fighting the same wind.
Well, you're only going to get 10 points if you come out and back in. That's what
I mean, it's just like you make one really big loop. That's not. I mean, it's outside.
If you've exited the maneuver other than the normal exit or enter the maneuver.
No, Steve, you're not listening. You do an overhead 8. You do an overhead 8. You come in front of you, and you come up, and you're supposed to come back at 45 degrees.
Yeah.
Instead, you go almost to the ground because it just gets blown over there. Then you get back and you come back into it, and you finish that maneuver.
Oh,
And you
okay.
do it again.
You could
That'd
get a
just be
20.
a crappy score. That'd be
You might
like,
get a 20. Yeah.
They gave me
15.
0.
Whatever.
They gave me
Yeah.
a 0.
But and you would still get pattern points.
That's
I
right.
didn't get pattern points.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about like blown completely out of a maneuver.
No, I
and
just
then
got
trying to
blown
go back in and do it.
Just got blown way over. It was it got blown way back over. So
Take
it
the
was,
6-point hit for that part of the maneuver and carry on.
well,
Right,
yeah,
right.
but they didn't do that. He started hollering, "Oh, that's a 0, that's a 0," and got over at the judges, and
No, it
Oh,
ain't.
man.
judges 0, and he flew old time, and the 2 guys that judged didn't fly old time and didn't know, and anyway, it ended up being I got a 0 on that maneuver, and I got a 0. I did not get pattern points. You get 2 flights. You get 2 flights. Only the best one counts. So,
Well, that worked out.
yeah, it worked out.
Did you win?
No, forgot his name from Pittsburgh won, and I don't even get me started on that because I like the guy, but Philly Flyers.
John Saunders? John Saunders?
No, not
He's
John.
from Philly. He's from Philly.
Well,
Dan
so
Banjock?
Dan Banjock.
Well, actually, Saunders is not from Philly. He's a Jerseyite.
Jersey go. Okay.
He lives over by
Yeah.
Vineland area.
Well, anyway, he was flying a Ringmaster with a 4-stroke on it. And I got pictures. I can prove this. He was started to do a climb and dive. He came along and started his climb, and he ended it straight overhead. That is not 60 degrees. That's 90.
Yeah.
Then he did his 2 laps at about 60 degrees, and then he went straight back overhead and went into his dive and came out the same way. His 8s were lazy 8s were so dang big. It was half a circle to half a circle, and they were X'd in the middle. There was no part of that pattern that should have been right.
Well, remember, Phil, judges watch with a critical eye. Occasionally, they've been known to use 2 eyes, but it's rare.
It's rare.
Is one
Well,
of
that's
them
what I
over?
mean. That's what I mean. It kind of bummed me that he got such a score flying a pattern like that, because I know the guy knows how to fly. I've seen him fly a lot, and he's a darn good pilot when he wants to be. But that pattern just should not have won the contest.
Well, did the judges know how to judge though? That's the
No,
question.
neither one of them fly old time. Neither one of them doesn't fly old time. The other one at the time did not fly.
Remember what Ted Fancher once said? He wrote, he says, "Judges judge and flyers fly."
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes
And
you
we
get
can't
what you
do
get.
and we can't do without each other.
That's
That's
right.
right.
And when you sign your name at the beginning of the day on that sheet, and you pay your money, you're saying, "I'm subscribing to anything that goes on here."
Yeah.
John Ashford, bless his heart, made a comment one time. You drive to the contest. You pay your money. You fly your flights, and you get what you get.
That's it.
And it's that
Get
simple.
what you get. That's
It
exactly
is.
right.
That
That's
simple.
stunt.
Huh?
That's stunt.
That's
Yeah.
stunt, baby.
Well, it was fun anyway.
Yeah, I can make jokes about judges now because I don't intend to fly in front of them anymore.
There's no judges out there saying, "Oh, it's Joe Gilbert. Give him a 21." Nobody does that.
I'm gonna tell you
If I
what.
see you fly a 21, I'd give it to you.
I give you what you get. I don't give
That's
you
right.
you
Give
get it.
you what you earned.
That's right. It's
You know,
all
I
good.
When I first started judging, they first started asking me to judge. I had the awfulest time judging guys from around here, guys that I know, because I kept feeling I'm afraid everybody's gonna think I'm giving him more than he deserves. But there's two
Well,
of them, and they just fly real well.
So you got it backwards. It's the flyers that are supposed to give the judges stuff. They here.
That's what I was saying. I
Well,
think we
yeah.
don't talk.
I knew I
enough
had
about
something. I'm doing something wrong.
yeah,
How
well,
we do it
you,
up here.
yeah. Well, you asked Sparky. He loves having me judge him because I know all his mistakes.
Well, I know all Tommy's mistakes.
You know both of his mistakes.
Yeah. Tommy's biggest mistake at that time was that he was leaving out maneuvers, and I couldn't do
Ooh.
anything for that. But
No.
he has since, I mean, the man's 82 or 83, and I still can't fly as good as he can. He's one top.
Tommy
Wow.
Looper's
Yes,
a
sir.
good stick, dude.
Looper can fly.
Luger can fly.
He goes out there. He went to Huntersville back when we still had contests that were contests. Read 20 people showing up in the old time to fly old time. And Tommy would come out there and he flew a super duper zilch. This one time in particular, he flew a super duper zilch and one old time. I was second and I was frustrated.
You should have been
Oh,
tickled.
I'm sorry. Charlie Reeves was second and I was third.
Yeah.
I didn't feel too bad because Charlie Reeves was flying that new plane of his, and it really is a good stick. That's a beautiful airplane. It flies great.
Big
Anyway,
job.
yeah. Yep. When he first started flying the big job. Now, I first flew with him when he flew the stunt wagon. I thought he was more dominant with the stunt wagon, but he likes the big job. Anyhow, I ended up third that day. But anyway, I forgot where I was going with this. But anyway, those guys are hard to beat. And I was tickled just to fly with them. But Tommy at 83, he goes out there. Oh, I know what he's doing. He won old time with that plane. So then he goes and he sits around and he judges a little bit and he fooled around. Then Sunday comes up and he's going to fly open. He flew the zilch and won. But then a year or two later, he flies that Viking that he had. And I've got the record. I'm the only one I know that beat him with that Viking, because I beat him one time in old time with it. And the other time I beat him, he was flying a guided whistle. There you go.
rubbing it in there.
Yeah, he's
Wow.
rubbing it in.
Yeah.
That looks like the 4 posters we used to give away at the June contest at Winston. But Tommy can take a dadgum old timer and just whoop you with it. Of course, that darn Joe Gilbert can do that with a ringmaster.
Uh-huh.
Charlie's name's on this trophy 5 times.
That's
What
perfect.
is it?
What is that one, Joe?
That's the old time Nats trophy.
Oh, okay.
You won it this year. Congratulations.
That
think I
trophy
called
is so hard to haul around that everybody tries to get second place.
Yeah.
Not me. Looper got it in 01,
He sure did with a stunt
brick
wagon.
house. Mhm.
I've never competed at the Nats for it but once, and I had somebody stepped on my stabilizer.
Hmm.
I tried to compete another time, and Mr. Hunt hollered at me, "You're soaking us over here." So I flipped it over, and the tank had broke.
Mine's on it.
Nobody had a soldering iron I could fix it with, so I was
I'm
out.
just on it 4 times. I think Charlie's got the record.
Well,
I'm afraid I don't think Charlie will be winning it anymore. But
No, I won't.
Not to change the subject, but it just dawned on me. I'm going out to this Lebanon swap meet. Anybody ever hear about that? The
I've heard
big
that.
swap
I've
meet
never
up here
been
in the
to it.
Northeast every year in March, and I got a bunch of
Keep,
stuff.
well, if you're going to Lebanon, keep your head down. You know, there's a lot going
Yeah.
on over there.
Exactly.
Good food though.
I've got my gear. It's Lebanon, Pennsylvania. And I got a bunch of stuff I'm taking out there, but somebody here might be interested in a couple of these things I have. I have a like new Prather pitch gauge.
I do.
I got two.
How much you
You
want
need
for it?
more?
How much you
Well,
want for it?
I can't give this thing away because
That's how much you want for it. I'll send you the money.
okay, we'll talk later.
Okay. I
Hey,
do want it.
Hey, Joe, I still got yours.
Well, I'll buy his. You keep yours. I aired. I sold one. I shouldn't have.
I
And you
got
know
two.
what I got a really nice, and this would be hard to pick because it's a little heavy. I got a really nice little arbor press to press shafts through an electric motor. Not that anybody here is really interested in that, but and I got a little arbor press too. But I'm going to take all the stuff out there that people don't want here. And the other couple of things I have is I got a wing. I don't want to be a salesman here, but I want to let everybody know about it in case anybody really wants one. I got a really nice wing with the tips on, the lead out guides in, the tip weight box is done, landing gear system's in. It's ready to go together with controls and a tail ready to go for. It's one of my designs, so I just thought I'd mention it.
Which one? Which plane?
It's one. It was actually for a twin, but it doesn't have the nacelles on it yet, so it could be for a single engine airplane too.
What do you want for it?
We'll talk. I don't like talking money over the internet.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
If you're interested, give me a blast. You know,
You still got, I'm sure you still got my phone number. If you don't, I'll call you or something.
I'm home all day.
Yeah, I'll be here all night.
I'm here 24/7 nowadays.
You're kidding. You don't get out more than that?
Not much.
Oh, Lord.
Anybody?
Like I say, the longest trip I'm going to take is that one down to Virginia, and you know, that'd be my big trip for the year, I think.
Anybody else want to pray their pitch gauge?
Could use one.
Who's that?
Steve.
Man, I should have spoke up because I've been trying to sell them one of my two, and for the last year, I bought Joe's, and he don't want it back.
Well, I got a Bobby McDonald pitch gauge too, and I'll probably keep that one. Robbie wants. That's actually Robbie's. So, but I have a Prather, like it's like brand new. I have an arbor press and a few other things. I have a bunch of Fox 35s.
Got boxes full of them.
I don't know how and you know, I haven't cut them up for tip weight yet. So, you know,
They have a purpose. It's just
I
not
bet.
your purpose.
not for me.
They're one of the better training motors out there.
I got a brand new Weber 32. I got a brand new VF 25. I got a few nice little motors. I got a Randy tuned Thunder Tiger 40, or is it a 46?
36,
No, it's a 46.
46.
Yeah, he did some 46s too, at 40s. I got one of those. So
Wow.
anybody's interested, give me a call. Got a bunch of stuff I'm getting rid of.
Cool deal.
I come up with some money. I'm buying a pedal steel guitar, and they cost.
I tell
We
you,
went and flew. We've been flying free flight on Mondays and Fridays, indoor stuff.
Yeah.
It's so cute to see those airplanes fly around inside.
Yeah.
I got a D Hill gave me a American Junior Hornets, what it's called,
Wow.
little rubber band airplane, and I put that long a rubber band on it and wound it 1,000 turns, and that rascal flew for 35 seconds in that gymnasium, round and round and round. It was so cute.
You get you a fake ID and enter the Science Olympiad at the grade school, Joe.
There you go.
oh, bad, bad.
That'd be fun. I mean, they didn't have that when I was a kid. Nobody that I knew of.
No.
All over it.
Wait a minute now. If guys can compete in girls' sports, can old guys compete in young men's sports?
If you can keep up with the young guys,
Joe has enough hair.
Did
I
any of you
can't do
watch
it.
watch that movie Float that I sent you the link to?
What?
Did anyone watch that movie
The
Float?
free flight show.
No.
oh yeah, yeah, that was a little ridiculous. Those guys are just too good.
Bob Hanford here in Tulsa. He's
I
going
mean,
with
you're
us.
I got
He's one of them.
Yeah.
I got tickled at the guy with I think it was a Constellation or a B-29. I can't
What am I
remember. It was
supposed to do with the one
four-engine
powered then.
airplane. He's holding this cradle. And I always thought that they pull their cradle away, let the propellers start spinning,
I didn't
and
want
toss
to.
the
I
model.
just want to make sure I'm
No,
not
he just takes the thing. He's holding the cradle, and the airplane's just sitting there. Waits till his turn and just goes,
I can't really tell.
Oh.
and the plane.
Want to hear a funny
Wow.
story
Almost
about free flight? I got a really.
What's that?
I got a true story about free flight. Does anybody know what peanut scale is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a little
All
bit.
right. Did you know when that event started?
I would say by 29 or 30. I'm guessing.
It started in 1975.
That late. I thought it was around forever.
Peanut
More
scale
modern than that, but I didn't have any
flown
idea
at the
when.
Nationals for the first time in
I'll
1970.
be darned.
And the reason I know that is Dave Rees, who some of you may know about, he crashed an airplane, his stunt ship, the day he got to the Nationals. And he kind of walked off forlornly down the B-47 tie-down pad at Chenault there. And he was gone all day long. And he came back late in the afternoon. He said, "Are you okay?" He said, "Yeah, I'm great." He said, "I found this event called Peanut Scale." And he was a stunt flyer. And he became one of the top free flight scale flyers in
I'll be
the world.
darned.
But it was interesting to note that Peanut Scale was flown for the first time at that Nationals.
I didn't know.
And the rules were, I think, 13-inch wingspan. And there was a bunch of rules. And you know what won the contest?
Mr. Mulligan.
A Pee-wee 020 powered a B-70 Valkyrie with a 13-inch
Oh my
wingspan.
gosh.
And they forgot to put in the rules that it had to be rubber powered. So there's an asterisk next to that record flight that holds, I think, to this day. And the next year they put in it has to be rubber powered. But that year they forgot to. They just assumed everybody knew it was rubber power, and the guy came with a Pee-wee 020, and they had to let him fly, and he won.
Wow.
Valkyrie, my word.
That's silly.
Yeah, that's a cool airplane to model, though. Yeah. There's only one of them left.
What would really be cool is if the guy with the little B-70 had a little tiny F-100 that came up and hit it and knocked it out of the air. If that's how the first one went in, you know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm telling you.
That was a bad deal.
Yeah, it was. I still want to see somebody build a B-2 and be able to fly it, because
There's several of them in radio control scale.
well, I want to come watch them, because I tried to do it, and when it turned, it took off and turned and went in the pattern, and I had a devil of a time seeing the thing. I would never do it again and do it in that dark black.
It's a stealth fighter, after all.
Yeah. But I got it up and got it back down and got it 2 laps around the field and got it back down. I got the gear up and got the gear back down and got it back on the ground and even hit the runway with it. But I'm gonna tell you what, you do not want to push the nose down in a all-wing airplane because they build up speed so quick and they don't bleed it off very quick. But it was
went out to Tucson, and we took that tour of the Davis Monthan facility out there.
Yeah.
And you see all the airplanes lined up, and they have placards out in front of each different type of airplane. And they had one placard out there. We were laughing because people on the bus were looking at it. It said stealth fighter, and there was nothing there.
That's perfect.
That's
and everybody's
cool.
looking, and the guy is deadpan explaining what the airplane is. And everybody's looking, and of course, all the model airplane guys are just cracking up, Pretty funny.
They did that at Oshkosh one year, years ago. They had it roped off a stealth fighter, and they had a mannequin sitting there with the helmet on, holding the helmet.
That's cool.
You gotta love it.
That's awesome.
Dean Pappas once had an airplane we called the Stealth Tipo. It was a Tipperary, a pattern airplane, and it was done in silver and light blue.
Oh Lord!
And when he took off and retracted the landing gear, it disappeared.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the trouble with those wings. When those wings, you can't tell which way they're going.
Huh?
The B-1 came here one time and was doing circuits around Tulsa and flying it. And you have to look at it for a little bit to tell which way the silly thing's going.
I mean, the
B2, don't you?
The B2, I mean, yeah, the B2, the stealth one.
Yeah.
It's a little bit scary looking. You can't tell what it's doing hardly.
We watched it take off
from in Dayton.
That way, when you fly too, Joe, we can't tell what it's doing.
Yeah, it's because I fly fast.
Well, I can keep up with Joe, and I can't keep up with some of them. I couldn't keep up with you at Tucson with that little 25 size thing.
Frisky
Ringmaster?
Jesus Christmas, man.
A Frisky Pete.
Bob took off, and that thing was the other side of the circle. I said, well, I'm glad I'm not a judge because I can't think that fast.
But it flew good, didn't it?
It did. It flew great.
A good little airplane. Until the motor stopped. Then it glided like a set of keys.
Yeah. I think it quit over here and it was on the ground over here. It did not make, I don't think it made a half
Is it got
lap.
a 1 inch thick wing, Bob?
Yeah, it was pretty thin. I think it was like an inch and maybe an inch and an eighth, inch and 3/6.
Inch and eighth, yeah. I knew it's small. I thought it was thin.
It was a nice little airplane.
With a cute little airplane, orange and blue, and it just
Orange
looked
and
really good.
I won the best appearing Floyd Carter's best appearing airplane. I won an airplane. He used to give away an airplane every year.
Is that right?
Yeah, and I gave it to my dad.
Yeah, the only thing about Bob's airplane, you didn't want to be in a small room with it.
Of all the
It still-
airplanes I've seen,
No, it still
Tucson,
smelled like paint.
in
That's right,
Tucson. John Callentine had a biplane. I think it's a Traveler. I'm not sure.
My dad's Traveler.
That was the coolest old time airplane I ever saw, bar none.
I got a picture of it.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful airplane. Golly, that boy can build it.
I flew that airplane. He let me
Did
fly.
you?
Yes, I did. And when I was flying it, the weather came in and it got extremely windy while I was flying that thing. I was scared to death.
I flew his Mustang a couple years ago.
Let's see, I think I can find a picture of it.
That was a beautiful airplane. My goodness, that's pretty.
Yeah, here we go.
That's
There it is.
It looks so good in the air too. Golly, it looked pretty in the air.
I want to get a picture of that. I say I'm going to get a picture of that. Here we
I'll
go.
just send it to you.
I got it. Okay. Well, I lost a bunch of stuff, Bob. My computer went and I lost a whole bunch of stuff.
I got another cool picture over here.
There you go.
It's a pretty good size airplane. It's not a tiny one.
Pretty big.
No, I've got plans that downstairs. One of these days, I'm going to try to build one.
Boy, that'd be a monster build.
My dad built 3 of them. And Red Reinhardt used to fly it at air shows or model airplane shows. My dad let Red fly it because he was a better flyer, and he flew that one. Then my dad built a second one, had it hanging up over his workbench, and he was drilling into a empty propane tank to make a little accumulator, and it really wasn't empty, and a spark went up, hit the
Oh,
airplane,
God.
and it went up in flames in about 10 seconds.
2 seconds. Poof.
Poof. And he built a
Yeah.
third one, and I think I have a picture of that one here someplace.
Dope really
wasn't as nice
is
as,
really quite flammable, even dry.
Oh my gosh, yes.
wasn't as nice as Callentine's, though. Callentine's is gorgeous.
It was.
Yeah, here's my dad's.
I built a little Satan one time, had it over the oven, over the fire, drying the dope right, put more coats on quick. And it caught fire, and I run through the house and threw it outside.
Very
There
Well
it is.
done. That's a big
Wait a
airplane.
minute.
Yeah, it's not a little good. Oh, wait, 34 ounces.
That's still a big airplane.
nice.
That's got to be a 40-inch wing.
Yeah, I would say so.
It's pretty good size.
Little hand.
That wouldn't fly
hand-
with the Fox 35, I wouldn't think. You need a 46 on that at least.
Well, they didn't have 46s back then.
They didn't?
No.
Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
you could have put like a made, or what we used to call made lousy 49s. You could put
Yeah,
that. But you had a Fox in it. It flew okay.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, Red used to fly it all the time. Mhm. I remember as a kid watching Red fly that.
Came up.
With all
What was the first
really
engine
big
that came
names.
along bigger than a Fox 35?
What's that?
What was the first engine that came along bigger than the Fox?
Well, there were engines before the Fox that were bigger. I mean, there were 60s, 61 things.
I think he's referring to stun engines.
Stun engines. Well,
Like
the
K&B 45 or
Big-
something.
K&B or Vico, and then the Fox 59, and
Merco 45 or 49 that Gialdini used in the
yeah,
Mhm.
in the Eclipse.
yeah.
By the way,
I
that
forgot about
little trivia, that Eclipse that he won the 65 Nationals with, that looked like a big stingray. That was a Merco 49, and that was the first stunt ship to win a Nationals fitted with a muffler.
Is that right?
Hey, that's cool.
Had a spin-a-flow muffler on it.
A Fox 59's a rude engine. It's loud. Holy
It
mackerel.
is that. It's a
Brute.
So it's a Merco.
You remember the
You know, Merco 60's loud. You're right.
Oh, we call them lease breakers.
for the
plane that Bob Giardini brought to Tucson? It was a P-47.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that he ever got it to fly. He ever got the motor running. But evidently the exhaust went it looked like the exhaust tunnel in one of Billy's airplanes all the way to behind the wing and dumped.
Yeah, it's a nice airplane.
They did get it to run because I remember hearing it run. It sounded like it was loud. It was loud. But boy, Bob had a smile on his face from ear to ear flying that thing. He was something else.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, he was.
Mark Gerber, did you watch the Avalanche last night?
No,
Oh, darn, I
not
was
much of
hoping
a
to rub
hockey
it in.
fan.
oh,
Crickets.
That was me. I killed the momentum. Sorry.
No, that's what Lynn used to say when nobody talked. He'd say crickets.
Crickets.
All right.
it's
So I got a question for you.
lay it
How
on
much tank do I need to get a Fox 59 to do the old time pattern?
4 ounces if you fly
4 ounces?
5%. If
Okay,
you put
4
5
ounces.
in
If you're gonna put 10, you'll need 4.5 if you're gonna fly 10. Mine is a
4
5
ounces
ounce
of-
tank. Mine is a 5
Okay.
ounce tank, but I just run.
Okay.
I run 4 ounces if it's 4 ounces if it's 5%, and 5.5 ounces if it's 10%. I've never run
Perfect.
more than that in it.
That's perfect. Because I'm going to build a humongous for it, and I just wondered what size tank to put in it. Thank you.
That'd be perfect. That'd be perfect. And my humongous has a Tiger 60 in it, and I'm really wondering why I didn't put a Fox in it because I've got 3 good Foxes downstairs. But I've got another stunt wagon 2/3 built too, so it'll be all right. And I've still got my original stunt wagon. I took that thing out My wife launched it for me, and I flew it a couple of flights the other day. Golly, Bob, after you fly one that weighs what it's supposed to weigh, the one I started with is so heavy, it just really, I mean, you hit a turn and that thing, it just, whoo, wow.
drops.
Yeah, that thing was something. But buddy, when the motor quits, I mean, you better point it at the ground at a shallow angle because it's going there quick. That was wild. I don't know. It was a lot of fun though. Flew that thing and I had two things I couldn't remember. I didn't remember they were so darn loud, and I didn't remember they were so darn oily. The whole airplane is covered in oil when you land it. Jeez. I found some old 5% castor and I saw that plane hanging back there in the back of the basement. I said, you know, we got a 61-degree day. It's so beautiful outside, and I got some fuel I need to get rid of before it goes bad. And I haven't flown that old girl in probably 10 years. Let's take it out and fly it. So we did, and it still flies. It still flies well, but you can tell the difference between a light one and a heavy one. It's what, 12, 13 ounces heavier than the light one. And it's
Humongous?
no, a stunt wagon 60.
Stunt wagon. Oh, okay. I don't know them well.
I stole the paint scheme that you had on that stunt wagon. I stole that from my Lark.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that thing. My new one's gonna have that paint scheme on it again. I just that's the only one I've ever had anybody that I thought looked up to was willing to steal, so I'm going to replace it. Use it again. I was so tickled. I got to the Nationals and Bob says, "Yeah, I stole your paint scheme." What are you talking about? I looked at his Lark and I thought, "Hey, I'm tickled. Somebody liked something I came up with. Wow."
Good scheme.
How
That
many
was neat.
people stole Bob's Genesis paint scheme?
Everybody that built one.
Hundreds and hundreds.
I've built three so far.
It's very gratifying.
all three of them have Bob's paint scheme on them. Of course, one of them was red, white, and blue. One of them was, what was it? I don't remember what the other one was. They were all that same paint scheme, but I didn't have a copper one. But I've got one downstairs. I've got a 46 and an extreme downstairs that I've got to finish, and I'm going to try to. I'm going to break down and try to copy Bob's copper. I'm going to call him and find out what it is because it's not really copper.
It was
One of them's it was a
airplane
Volkswagen or BMW or something like that.
Great Plains put out a kit some years ago. I forgot what the name of the airplane was, but they stole a paint scheme off my Caprice, the second Caprice, not the first one, the one I used for VSC all those years. And I went over to the guy and just good naturedly was busting his chops. Say, boy, are you going to pay me a royalty for the paint scheme on this? And the guy got mad at me. He actually got me. I didn't steal your paint scheme. You know, it's just, come on. You know, I mean, it's verbatim. You know. And I had a couple of those happen that way. And I good naturedly bust their chops, and they got really mad.
Yeah, some people had no sense of humor.
It's all right.
It's a model airplane.
Yeah, it's toy airplanes, man.
It's kind of like talking to the Chinese girl at the Worlds, and she says, "I really didn't think Americans would talk to us. We really didn't expect y'all to talk to us." I said, "Sugar, we're not talking world politics. We're talking toy airplanes. I mean, toy airplanes."
Well, that's how it's always been with world competitors, as far as I'm concerned. Every time I've been to a world, there's nothing about politics or anything like that. Well, except for the Canadians. But
I told her though.
sorry,
Yeah,
the shot was there. I took it. You know.
We're out there cutting up on the L-pad though, and the guy who I thought was her father, it turns out it's a renowned Chinese flyer that she got to coach her, and the three of us were talking, and I said, you know, we get a bunch of us together talking model airplanes, and ain't nobody gonna have any problems. We're just gonna talk toy airplanes. Now you throw one politician in the mix.
Yeah.
And she just started laughing. Both of them started laughing. So I said, "Okay, I can get along with them just fine."
There were a couple of circumstances that had nothing to do with the American team. Politics that happened concerning the Chinese team years ago. That's when Zhang was living in Canada, and he went as a and there was a little problem. They were pretty ticked off at him, and that was the only time I ever saw any politics raise its head at a Worlds.
Never saw it either.
I couldn't understand why Zhang didn't come back and fly some more.
What's that?
I don't understand why Zhang didn't come back and fly some
He
more.
got into helicopters. He has a hobby shop, right, Len? He had
There's a hobby shop in
He got into helicopters, and I guess he went into other things, because he's a pretty smart
Jets.
guy.
Jets.
He
You got
actually
into
made some
jets
money.
after that.
Oh, Lord.
You got into jets after helicopters.
There you go. So,
Well, as long as he's still into toy airplanes of some kind, he's still having
he's a
fun.
great
I
guy.
just didn't want to
Really
hear that
great-
he'd moved
really
to
great
Canada
guy.
and then had to give it all up,
One heck of
having
a
a hard time
flyer.
adjusting or whatever. But it don't sound like he's having any trouble.
Was a good flyer. Nice guy.
Yeah, he was a nice guy. I barely understand some of what he said, but some of what he said made perfect sense.
I had a,
Yeah, his English is quite a bit better now after all
I
these
bet.
years been here.
I had a political incident with the translator, the little girl translator for the Chinese team in 2014. The AMA gave us some American flag pins to give out as souvenirs to people. And so I gave one to the little Chinese translator girl, and I kept it in the original package that said "Made in China."
Oh, my word.
She was quite amused.
That's pretty good. I had a little political problem in 1980 where I got arrested, but other than that,
Ooh. Ooh.
You went looking for that, dude.
I blame Les. He was driving the van. I just was a passenger,
Oh, me.
Speaking of world championships, anybody heard anything about our team trials?
I can update you a little bit.
Please.
Okay. Russell's took the bull by the horns, and he's talked to all the committee members from all the districts and replaced some of the ones that didn't want to be in that mode anymore. And he's talked to Colleen Pierce, and he's going to try to get bids out from everybody that wants to do it.
Who's that?
Russell.
you
And
know.
Russell.
Honey.
Oh,
And he's going to put a bid in for the glue daubers again.
oh, cool.
So we'll see but he's talked to every district member except for Dick Hauser, and he may have talked to him today. I got a number for him yesterday. He may have talked to Dick today, and they're going to talk to try to get it. He'd like to have it figured out mid-March to know what they're going to do. So if it's us, we can start planning,
Sure.
But there's anybody can put a bid in, of course, but that's what he's working on, getting people to go out and get bids at those that want to have it.
When will they be?
Huh?
When will they be?
I think probably mid-August is what he's thinking.
Okay, good.
We did it last time on that kind of a standard weekend, but Dallas has a contest that weekend, and that caused a lot of.
Labor Day.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
put it too close to the Nationals, the guys that have to come some distance, from the West
That's
Coast.
right. See,
That's all
The
fun.
Nats are going to be mid-July, so if you do it late August, third weekend in August or something, I think's what he's thinking.
Or if you had it right after the Nationals, the guys from the West Coast could swing right down there and then swing back up home.
They're going to talk about all that.
I'm sure.
Decisions hadn't been made yet. They're going to talk, but that's why he's getting the committee together to help do that. So there's going to be one, but nobody knows where yet. But they're working on it.
Okay, groovy. Thank you.
Sounds interesting.
Go watch.
Come to Tulsa; it's the place to be.
If the wind ain't
Howard's
blowing.
flown there. Howard flew in Tulsa.
Yeah.
If the wind isn't blowing.
How long a drive is that for you, John Carotas, to Tulsa?
7,000 miles or 12,000 miles.
He's not eligible for the team though. So.
He could come to watch. It's a place to be.
Yeah, it is.
You can come and judge.
Yeah.
The judge.
There's a restaurant there called Oklahoma Joe's. Joe Gilbert
Yes,
has never been to it.
and never been there. And they also got one right down the street called I went brain dead. I don't care. Did you go to I Don't Care restaurant, Howard, while you was here?
I don't remember.
It's you go out the street and turn left and go 2 miles on the right. There's a restaurant called I Don't Care.
We don't
Yeah.
care if you don't remember.
Jonathan,
don't
you
care
could
what I
judge.
don't
Heck, the
remember.
last time they even let a Canadian judge.
Yeah, you can come down and judge.
We're not going to talk about
Judge
that.
Area.
I don't think I'd ever eat at a restaurant called I Don't Care. They might mean they don't care what they give you.
Got a point.
Got some sad news. Some of you guys may have heard of a guy, a great stunt pilot here in New Zealand, Dave Wright. He died yesterday, died last night.
Oh no.
He was a great guy.
Too bad.
Yeah, very sad. Yeah, just a really nice guy. You know, the first time I met him, it was like meeting an old friend, you know, and yeah, he was a fantastic pilot and builder.
How old was he?
Well, I'm only guessing. I don't know for sure, but I would imagine he was probably getting close to 80, if not, probably getting close to it. Yeah, last time I really spoke to him was I had a bit of a shindig here for some of the stunt pilots about 18 months ago or 2 years ago, and he came along, and yeah, very sad to hear that. But he hasn't flown for a while. He hasn't been active. He's been, you know, sort of in a rest home for people with dementia and stuff. And
Jonathan,
sad, but a release at the same time, I guess.
Yeah, Jonathan, I just on a happier note, I just want to tell you, I did my part for your keep your nation's businesses going.
Good on you. You bought
And I
another
went-
rod.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, the girls, the girl there, the two women there are so sweet. You go over and I told them I don't really know which one I want this year, but I couldn't. They didn't have the one I wanted in the color that I want. And I said, no, I want jewel. I've got two of the blues. I love the blue. They've got the prettiest blue of anybody out there. But I have for 2 years wanted to get a jewel one, and they never have a jewel one. So she says, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I remember you doing this last year. I said, yeah, I wanted a jewel one then. She says, I'm going to ship it to you and we'll pick up the shipping. I didn't realize they're the company. The guy and the older lady are the company, and the younger woman is their daughter. So it's they're real nice people. They're really nice people. I really do.
I never met them personally, but yeah, they were great to deal with. When I bought my Composite Developments rod, this going back 20 or more years ago, they were just a new company. They followed up with a phone call a couple of months later just to see how it was going, how the rod was going. You know, it was good. They were a good company.
They did me that too. I told them, well, I tell you what, I've got a friend who loans me his $1,200. It's a little over $1,200 Orvis. It's the newest, latest, greatest Orvis. And he wanted me to borrow it. And I took it and I fished with it a few minutes. And he come back up the river and he says, what do you think? I said, I'm ready to trade back when you are. He says, no, I don't know if I'm going to trade back with you. He likes my CTS. So we were at show Saturday. And he says, what is this? What's that rod you have? What is it exactly? I said, well, come on, we'll go over there. So I went over and talked to Galen, and I said, I want to get my buddy here a 5-weight in the now I forgot the name of the blue, but anyway, the blue, and just ordered him my rod blank. I cheated. I had written it down on a card. I had my paper because I got CRS, and I even admit it. But anyway, we ordered him a rod blank. So that's 2 he got. And then there 2 more of the guys from the class came over. What are y'all doing? I said, well, we're ordering blanks. I said, you can get those $50 blanks back there all you want, or you can get a good one up here and have something that really works. He said, well, what is that thing that Rick was showing me at the lake, at the river a couple of weeks back? I said, well, I don't know. What'd you show him? He says, your CTS. I said, well, this is where you get it. So I think our group bought about six. I think the last total was six rods because we got one guy's got deep pockets and he bought two. But that's the word is catching on about the CTS rod blanks.
We got back on
They-
fishing again.
Yeah, speaking
Yeah, I
of
know
fishing
it.
rods, how's the airplane coming, Mark?
Okay, Mark, Mark's here. How you doing anything to the Bearcat or what are you working on?
Bearcat is on hold right now. I got other things going on. I'll show you what I'm.
Thunderbird.
How's the Thunderbird coming? I started to
It's
call it a
coming
Thunder
along.
Chicken. I started to call it a Thunder Chicken, which is what I call mine, but I've got one. Oh, look at this.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a little Thunderbird in the basement that I've got Thunderbird written on the wing. And I took it to a contest and the guy says, that's not a Thunderbird. So what do you mean it's not a Thunderbird? And I built it so long ago and never put a name on it. I couldn't think of what it was. He said, that's Tom Dixon's. Now I forgot the name of it again. But anyway, it's Tom Dixon's airplane. Well, about that time, Tom Dixon pulled up. And he says, yeah, you finally built that's not a Thunderbird. I said, okay. I put it back in the car. But it's Tom Dixon's design, but it's
Got
looks
the
like a
elliptical
Thunderbird.
wings. Yep.
Yeah, it looks like a Thunderbird, but it's a little bit bigger. I want to wait till I get my ombre finished and show Sparky because it is a fully elliptical wing built in wood. He thinks you can't build an elliptical wooden wing, and you can. You just have to mold the leading edges, and you have to mold well, anyway, it's not, you don't have to mold anything else. You have to mold the leading edges. It's a job, but it can be
Is
done.
anybody else just seeing monogram on the screen?
I
Yeah,
do.
that's all I
Well, that's-
see.
Yeah.
That's Mark's
Yeah, I'm just
sharing
about to
the
tell
screen.
the story about what I've been doing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm working on
Phoenix,
the T-bird on the
that's the name of
side
that
too,
plane.
but this is what I'm doing for the exhibition event down in Tucson at VSC.
Oh, cool.
We all remember monogram models from when we were
Yeah.
kids. And it was started, a little research I did, that these two guys started it in 1945. And they had both worked for Comet before the war and were both modelers. And Bob Reeder, the guy on the right here, he was in the Navy and he worked on that identification program that they had to build all these wooden 1/72nd scale identification models for the pilots and the gunners. And I think not many people are left anymore, but I remember some of the guys talking about when they were in shop class during the war, they made these wooden models for the Navy. But anyway, so they start this company. And, we all remember them for the plastic kits. But before they did plastic kits, they were into wood and airplanes.
Yeah.
And they kitted this monogram Whirlwind in 1946. I had never heard of it before. I just stumbled across it the other day. Anybody ever seen one of these?
Yeah.
No.
Apparently they're pretty rare, and if you happen to have one, it's probably worth some money. And if you really want to be sporty, you could make one for an old time and flatten old time. I guess it flew okay, but it doesn't look like it has a lot of wing area. I think it's only got a 30-inch wingspan.
Area, and it's not very thick.
Yeah,
Wing's
like
not
a
very
speed.
thick.
Anyway, they were making this airplane, and they made some wooden boat models too. And then in 1948, they issued these two control line planes. One was a Cub and the other was an Aranca.
Sedan. That's the four-place one, Mark.
Yeah, it's a sedan. And then they had the Cub Special. And I looked this up in the AMA library. You see the date on here is 1948
Wow.
when they issued these. And here's the kit.
Oh my word.
Now my uncle had built one of these and had it hanging in he was living at home when I was a little kid, and he was hanging down in my grandmother's fruit cellar in the basement. And I used to just go down there and look at that thing. I knew I wasn't allowed to touch it. But my uncle was at work. And I was just fascinated by it. It was the first control line plane I'd ever seen. And later he took it out and flew it for me, and then for a long time I didn't know what it was. And I moved to New England, and life went on, and I in talk with Dick Woolsey, I figured out it was this monogram Aranca was the kit. And Dick says, "Oh, I got one." He said, "I'll let you borrow it if you want it." I said, "Well, yeah." So Dick, came to the field soon after that with this kit and just gave it to me. He said, "Here, you can borrow it for a while if you want to look at it and fondle it, whatever you want to do." So here's the kit instructions.
Hmm.
And it had this carved wing.
Like a Speedy built.
Well, yeah, I'm getting to the Speedy built. And you glued these ribs under the bottom side. It had slab side fuselage. And I took it home and drew plans right away from it. And this is something I did about 1990 with a pencil and a ruler and a T-square. And I actually got these scanned later, and I put it on outer zone. So this plan is on outer zone. If you zoom in on it a little bit, it looks a lot better because it's done in pencil and vellum, and it doesn't look as good as an inked drawing would, but
It's
you can
pretty
see
darn nice.
Yeah.
the
way they're supposed to look, Mark.
what's that, Bob?
That's the way they're supposed to look right there.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I agree.
I believe I could build from that.
And the funny thing was that they had this really bizarre. You can't see it very well here. It's not there at all, actually. This real bizarre thing under the wing. Here, you can see it here. See this?
Oh, sure. Lead
Yeah.
out guy.
And this was some kind of an attempt to get around Walker's bell crank patent that he had at the time.
Oh.
But if you look at the plans of the instructions, it doesn't say a thing about the control system.
I'll be
So
done.
it's like you're on your own. And my uncle,
Yeah, it does. How about
my
that?
uncle built his. He put a bell crank in it, and it worked fine with the bell crank, of course. But and this shows the coil and the battery and everything before they had glow plugs. But my uncle's had a ONR 23 in it, and then here's the one I built.
Outstanding, Mark.
About 1990. That
Yeah, I love it.
Look at those wheels.
Around 2000.
There's Trexlers.
And I took it down to VSC, and Dick, came from Boston, and I showed it to him, and he thought it was pretty cool. And we actually flew it that year. I think it was about 2003 or 4. I don't know for sure what year it was
Before I
anymore.
got there.
So I've had this at home, and I still got it. I took it to Brodex one year and flew it out there just for fun.
It's got
So-
elliptical wing on it, looks like. Was that elliptical wing, you think?
No.
No?
It's straight.
Flat on the bottom.
Except for the tips.
I mean, it
You
looks
see
like
that?
it's rounded
here's the
on the
top.
bottom. Uh-huh. No, I mean symmetrical.
Yeah, you're right. It is symmetrical.
Looks symmetrical.
And I don't know why it's symmetrical, because it doesn't stunt worth beans. My uncle
No.
could get his to do a saber dance, and that was about it. I don't remember him ever doing a loop with it, but maybe he did.
I'll be darned.
If you really want to be gutsy, you could try to build one of these really light and fly it an old time, but
Joe could take that and win the Nationals with it.
No, no way. That's no way. But that's awesome. That's just to fly that around would be cool, y'all.
So anyway, Monogram was in the control line kit business before they ever got into plastic kits. And so
Amazing.
around 1950 or 49, right after they kitted these control line planes, they came out with the Speedy builds. And these were terrible flyers. But
They were fun to build.
Yeah, they were all you
Yeah,
had.
but
I mean, in those days there were
Hey,
hardly
but they
any
look
plastic kits at
cool
all.
and they sold.
Yeah. And they had all these different
Oh
models
my.
that they had, and they sold them. They were pretty popular in their time.
I had most of those.
And you can
Did
see,
you really?
Oh yeah, sure.
There
Those little
was
1/16 inch ribs you put into the little milled top part of the wing, and you put the little ribs on the bottom. And
So Dick and I were at VSA, and somebody comes up and said, "What is that thing?" You know, it's a monogram. Well, what's that? And Dick says, "It's just a big speedy build." And I sort of rung a bell, and I said, "Huh." And he was exactly right. I mean, it is a big speedy build. Here's the Aranca speedy build.
Mhm.
And
How big are those wing areas? What's the wing span? Is that a 30-inch wingspan or less?
You mean on the full size one?
No, on yours. How big's your wing?
It's 30. What did I say?
It's pretty
35
good
and a quarter inches.
It's pretty good size.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't have a lot of area because it's
No,
pretty
it doesn't.
narrow.
But it's not a half A. It's bigger than a half
No,
A.
no, this is an ONR 23 that I powered it with.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Joe, we have stabilizers that big now.
Yes, we do. You're right.
You probably do.
He's right.
So anyway, I got my hands on a Aranca sedan and I built it up. Now here's the kit instructions. You can see the similarity to the other one.
Yep.
Except it's about half the size
Oh,
of
I'll be
the
darned.
control line plane.
Huh.
And you can see
Are
it's got
those,
the
are
same.
those free flight airplanes, Mark? The Speedy Belts?
Yeah, they're supposed to be, but they're terrible flyers. I didn't build mine to fly because I didn't think it would do more than settle gently into the ground.
If you're lucky, settle
yeah.
gently.
Yeah.
Fly it over tall grass.
But like Bob said, that was all we
Fly
had.
a little
those-
bit. I got
That
mine
was
to
all you
fly.
had in those days, and you could build them into these cool little airplanes. And
Yeah.
I guess people tried to fly them, but I don't know if they had success or not.
You know what they were? They were imagination boosters.
Yeah,
That's probably right.
I think I remember having one of these when I was really young, but I vaguely remember it.
Yeah,
I do.
dozens of them.
So
Time I
anyway,
got involved, Comet was the thing that Daddy bought me because it's a dime.
anyway, about 6 weeks ago, I said, "Hey, I had to build this thing up and take it to VSC with the bigger one." So here's what it looks like. I just
Oh, it
finished
is. That big one's a good size airplane. Yes, sir.
Well, it looks bigger because of the little guy here, but
Uh-huh. Is the little one a rubber band?
yeah, you could put a rubber band in it. I didn't because I don't
Okay,
intend to fly
okay.
it, but
Gotcha.
most of the Speedy builds had rubber bands power,
Yeah.
except for the jets. I don't know what the jets were supposed to be powered by. I guess you just throw them real hard or something. I don't know.
That's
So-
just cute as it can be. I
That's
like
cute.
that.
That is. That's just nice. Nice.
Anyway, this is what I've been doing off and on for the last few weeks, and
Nice.
finally got it done.
Very
And
nice.
I'm working on a T-Bird. I'll show you that next weekend, I think.
The wheels you have on the big one, those are Trexlers, right?
Well, the ones I have on it currently are not Trexlers
Oh, okay.
because I inherited my uncle's plane after he died. And actually, my dad got it, and I ended up getting it. And it was in pretty bad shape. But I took the wheels off of it and I put those wheels on here. So these are about 1.5 inch sort of Vico style. You can't see it very well in this picture, but
Anybody ever use Trexlers? Anybody on this forum?
well, I had them on that one plane. That's
They're
it.
cool because they had a little thing where you blew them up.
Yeah, I
You
got to
close
set
the
up
wheel,
the garage.
and then you'd squeeze it and you'd wrap it around the hub.
That's
and
right.
the actual tire, the compression of the tire would hold the thing from losing air.
Yeah, I had to tuck it in.
And
Tuck
tuck
it
it
in.
in.
I've
Yeah.
got to set up them out in the garage, but I never
Land
used them.
on grass. If a field was halfway, if it was just halfway smooth, you could land on grass with Trexlers. I had them on a Nobler, and you could land on grass and it just looked like
But
greasing it into concrete.
Hey, Bob.
Wonderful.
Yes, sir.
First RC airplane I remember my dad having, and he built it 10 years before I was born, was something called a rudder bug. And he had a Galloping Ghost
yes,
RC system in it.
Yeah.
And it had tricycle landing gear with Trexlers.
Trexler
on it.
wheels. Yeah.
yes.
Hey, listen, before I forget, thank you for talking to that guy I put you in touch with.
Oh, Lel, yeah, we've been chatting up a storm through Messenger and had a couple of really nice phone calls.
Yeah, he contacted me and he said, well, there's nobody around here. I said, where are you? Still around Nashville. I said, I know a guy near there. And I gave somebody else your number and they gave it to you. They gave you his number. Forgot who it was that gave it to you, but I gave it to somebody to give to you.
Well, he called me, I don't know, about 3 weeks
That's right.
ago.
I gave him your number. That's right.
Yeah, and we had a really nice chat, and then we became Facebook friends and started messaging back and forth and showing. He was showing me pictures of his Aries that he had from eons ago that
Wow.
he's needing some monocoat for, and I pulled out 5 rolls of red monocoat and I said, which one matches? And I'm like, you just got to come over to the shop one night. Just come up. Because it turns out he lives about 6.5 miles away from me.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, you got to
Yeah,
fly.
he's in my town. He's in Franklin, Bob. He lives in Franklin, but he's in like downtown Franklin.
Got a new
And
flying buddy.
he told me that he flew with you guys at the Garden State Circle Burners back a
Yep.
long time ago. And then he said he left the United States and he lived in Singapore for the last 27 years.
Well, then he moved to what, Hawaii, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, he was only in Hawaii for a few years,
Yeah.
but he's been in Tennessee for 2. And I was like, he's been in Franklin for 2. I was like, what took you so long, man? You've been here 2 years? Jeez, we lost a lot of time, you know? But
Yeah.
I think, and the other upside, he's got a 16-year-old boy and a 14-year-old boy. And one of them is definitely interested. They're flying a little bit of RC stuff, and the younger one is interested in control line.
Oh, cool.
So I think we're definitely going to spend some time together this
Thank
spring and summer.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, no worries. He's got this old Aries he wants to get going again, and like I said, he needs some monocoat patches or something. I said we got that handled, but we don't need to wait till then. I got 10 airplanes here. If you just want to come out and get on the handle, you just need to come out with us, you know?
Cool.
So we'll get him back in the air. Seems like a really cool guy.
That's great.
Anyway, the rest of the story here is that Monogram did those Speedy builds, and then I guess they kept them in production for 10 years or more, but they went and totally converted to plastic models by the mid 50s. And that's how we all know but they got their start doing control line airplanes.
They were still selling Speedy builds up until around 1960, 61.
Were they? Okay.
Yeah. Or the hobby shops had stock of ones that were either discontinued or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, that was kind of fun to go back and uncover all this.
Yeah. Way cool.
Thanks, Mark.
Excellent.
Very cool. I built a pile of their plastic models in the 70s, and I had no idea that they ever did wooden stuff. No idea.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Neither. Very neat. We just missed it by a few years, Lynn.
Yeah, just by a few. I used to love their plastic models. They went together very nicely. They were a really nice build. They were a good airplane to build.
Yeah.
I probably built at least I would guess 25 or 30 of them.
Yeah, I'm right in there with
I
you.
built a lot of them.
I had them hanging all over the roof of my room, ceiling
Yeah,
of my
so
room.
did I. Yeah, I had them in the roof and on the windowsills and everywhere else.
Yeah.
They'd get knocked down and knocked off and busted
Then I
up.
could play with them.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I didn't play. I was into painting them and trying to make them as scale as I could, so I didn't play with them.
me
much.
too. Me too. And got to painting it. Everybody's trying to tell me, why are you painting the inside of the wing? It's the one that F4 used to, not the Phantom, the
Cougar.
F4. Yeah, the wings used to come. You popped them out just a little bit, and then they'd fold up. Well, I painted up inside it where it would look like it was supposed to. It was gray.
Cremated. Chromated. Should have been green.
Yeah, well, they look really good. And I went and entered one in a model contest, and the guy says, "You do realize this is a model car contest, don't you?" I said, "Well, I see the sign. It says model contest. It doesn't say anything about car, but I have a model car in my box I'm putting out here too." So we came home with a trophy. That's all that mattered. The trophy was you remember the Big T? It was a $15 model at the time. This is in the 60s. $15 was a lot of money. Now the little $1.50 kits are $15 now. They're 25
That was a
now.
big model.
It was a great big model.
I had one.
I came home with that, and my brother built it. Well, anyway, it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. He says, "You're into airplanes. You build that, and I'll build this." So he built that, and he did a good job on it. He was really good at building models. But anyway, I'm gonna get out of here for a few minutes. I'll be back in just a short. I hope a few of them still here. Michael, I got a question for you though. You still here? He's not on my screen.
Hey, sir.
Yeah, I'm here.
Those the screw at I'll have to get my notes out. What we were talking about Friday night, that little thing where you can measure the screws,
Yeah.
those sets. Can
Yeah.
you go by the hobby shop and get one of those and I'll pick it up from you Friday? We're both gonna be in Georgia Friday.
In Perry? Oh,
Yep.
yeah, maybe. You know, my hobby shop's like 30 miles away, man. It's not.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, don't worry about
Yeah,
that. I'll try to.
it's 27 miles each way. It's over in
No,
Smyrna.
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I went to my
What
hobby shop and they don't have it.
I
Done
I would not be surprised if Micro Fasteners has a booth at Perry, though.
Well, that's a good idea. I'll look for it down there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll be back in
I'll
a little
tell you
bit.
what,
Thank you.
if they don't have them at Perry, when I get back, I can get one and drop it in the mail to you because, like I said, they had 2 or 3 sets hanging in the hobby shop, but I'm leaving for Perry on Thursday night. I don't know if I can get to the hobby shop tomorrow or Wednesday.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. We're going down Thursday night and get a hotel room.
Yeah.
And then go from there down to Florida line and start coming back this way looking at the lighthouses. But anyway, I plan to see you Friday and aggravate you and Junior.
All right.
I'll
Well,
just
Junior's
with
not
you.
coming. He's in school. He doesn't want to miss a day of school for swap meet. He wants to miss a
I
day
don't
of
really
school
blame him.
for Joe Nall. He'd
Well,
rather
no.
miss. He'd rather miss school for a contest than a swap meet. So
Yeah, you coming to the stunt school?
it's up in the air. I'm not 100% sure yet if we'll be there or not.
I know what you mean. I'm not sure either. Anyway, I'll be back in a little bit. Y'all be careful. Thank you anyway. We'll plan on seeing you Friday.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Bob. How are you?
Hang it in there.
I'm going to see you Saturday morning at Lebanon.
Not this Saturday morning.
Oh, it's the next one. That's right. It's the next one.
You're going to be
Well,
waiting.
I'm glad you said that.
If you're going to go out there this Saturday, you're going to be waiting a while for me.
For you guys that don't know, about 3 years ago, Tommy Smeltzer and I, a good friend of mine, we went up to the Garden State Circle Burners swap shop and drove up on Saturday and got to the firehouse. There was no one there. And we said, well, we're probably a little bit early. So we went out, had breakfast, came back at 8 o'clock. There's still no one there. I said, uh-oh, I wonder if they moved it. And we finally got a hold of someone who said, no, we didn't move it. It's at the firehouse. You guys were a day early. Oh, shit. So we drove back 2.5 hours and came back the next day. Well, I'm glad you said that. I may have gone up there Saturday.
No, it's the 8th. The 8th.
Good deal. Good to see all you guys.
I'm going to be there early because I got to get a parking spot close to the door with my back.
Yeah.
Luggage.
I will too.
Yeah,
I will. Yeah.
About 6.
I'll help you out.
Appreciate it.
Got 2 public service announcements. One is if you get a text that says, pay your fast track ticket, a text in the text, click here. Don't do it. It's a scam. And the second one is if your service provider says, send you a modem and says, we're going to upgrade your service, don't bother. I had to change back to my other modem to get streaming again.
I get stuff from my internet provider all the time, supposedly emails saying, you have to upgrade your account. And before I called them and they said, don't ever open an email. We'll never send you an email. We'll always send you snail mail or call you and whatever. He said, but don't ever open an email.
Well, I got that fast track text and I thought, well, shit, I never been through no fast track. That's California. And, that's a speed trap camera. And so I searched it on Google, and sure enough, it's a scam.
Yeah.
Most things today are.
It's a crying
I'm out
shame.
there.
Yeah.
Well, let me
Those
show you
people
this.
are breathing good air.
Let me show you this. This is why my phone is set to. Let me make me big here. Is set to it, and it really aggravates the crap out of me. Present everyone, spotlight for everyone. See if you can see it here. See all those red numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are all spam calls within the last, well, 220 started at 225. Then we got
I'll be done.
Two real spam calls.
Mine
yeah.
doesn't get there that many. I don't want them.
Some
I mean,
spammer
I'm
and
still
then
going
Danny.
up. It's
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Nuts.
Huh.
Mark spam.
spam. Do I want to sell my house? You
So-
want to give me a quick tax refund? There's all kind of shit. I don't know. Do I want to buy Medicare?
Want to buy a stunt ship?
Yeah. Now the message is, leave your name and number. If I know you, I'll call you back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I won't give you a spam call, but I'll let you know I do have a stunt ship for sale.
I got several.
It's probably AI calling you.
Well, it's really ramped up in the last, in February, it really ramped up where I'm getting 15 to 30 calls a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's you and not me.
Oh,
Turn
man.
around
You
on your
might-
want to see in the back of your T-shirt if it says "Kick me hard."
Yeah.
Yeah, you might want to change your phone number. That's bad.
But the guy said on the forum, it said need to be run through the wood chipper real slow.
Do you mark them in your phone as spam? Like,
Yeah,
do they still keep coming, eh?
yeah. Well, I have a program called Hiya, and it blocks them so it doesn't ring. But what they're doing is they're spoofing numbers now that are numbers that are disconnected. You'll get a number and it's disconnected. I don't know how they're doing it.
Sparky, one time, Colleen got a call from herself, spam call,
Yeah,
from her own number,
yeah, I know.
from her own number.
I got
Wow.
one of them too.
Oh, well.
Oh, well, we'll have to go back to the old party line dial up.
Brings back
Yeah, it's-
memories.
When are you getting to Tucson, Mark, by chance?
You asking me, Joe?
Yeah, we better not talk about that here. We'll talk about it tomorrow. I'll call you.
Send me a text or call me, yeah.
Yeah. Penny's talking about coming down, I think. That'd be fun.
Who?
John? Penny?
Oh. Yeah, I may be up in the air because
Yeah.
Jerry Higgins is not coming because his wife has got some medical issues.
Oh, heck.
Chris is not coming either because he was going to ride with Jerry. And they may have been transporting John's plane. I don't know what
They
the
could have
story
been.
is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I need to contact him and see what he's doing.
How long a drive is that for you, Joe?
17 and a half.
Holy moly.
That's nothing.
Nothing.
Holy moly.
We've done it nonstop 3 or 4 times, but I don't do that. I ain't done that in 5 years, probably.
Billy and I did it 9 times in a row, nonstop, both ways.
24 for you. Maybe more.
It's 27.50 for me.
28.
Was it uphill both ways?
Yes.
Murphy.
One way.
Going through Las Cruces, it's uphill both ways.
I don't know how
Take
you
it back.
guys
We didn't
do
do
it.
it. We did it 8 times in a row, out and back nonstop. One time we stopped and stayed at Al Raby's house overnight.
Did you? Well, when you go through Las Cruces, it's uphill both ways.
Yeah.
You guys must love driving.
I just sit in that car and drive, baby.
Going to Tucson and
hate-
back is a very scenic drive out west here.
Oh, yeah. If you're coming from El Paso, which we did a couple of times, out 10, and you're heading for those mountains that are just east of Las Cruces, you seem like you're heading for those mountains for about a week.
You can see them 100 miles away, I think.
They never get any bigger, and they seem like they're just as far away, hour after hour after hour.
Oh,
Dust
man.
devils. These dust devils that are thousands of feet tall.
That sounds
Unbelievable.
like Texas on Interstate 10.
Same
Yeah.
thing.
2
I
days.
often wonder when we go through Lordsburg and Deming and BB and all those little towns along there, it's like, why did you stay here?
Yeah.
Did the wagon wheel break and you couldn't get a new one, so you just stayed? That's all I know.
Oh my God.
Have
Why
you ever
would
wondered
anybody-
things like that?
Yeah.
How would
Yeah.
anybody live in Midland,
Oh,
Texas?
man.
I don't know.
The wagon wheel break.
Have you guys
Oh,
ever been
man.
to Australia? Any of you guys ever been to Aussie?
Nope.
Well, you talk about distances. Marion and I travelled around Australia on a motorbike, and you'd ride all day. And you'd look at the map, and you'd got about a quarter of an inch.
Oh, shoot.
I used to have a bike like that too.
Yeah, I knew that was coming. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's a long way across there, boy, I'll tell you.
That's a big country.
It's a huge place. You got
When
no
I was at MIT, I had a German roommate. He'd never been to the US before he came over to school. And I graduated and took a job in Los Angeles. And he said, I'm going to come out and see you during the summer. I said, well, okay. So he bought an old postal truck in Boston, and he outfitted it with a little cot in the back so he could sleep in it. And he started out for California. And he got about to Illinois, and he realized he grossly underestimated how big the country was. He got to LA, and he says, my God, you have a big country. And he sold the postal truck in LA and took the bus back.
Takes about 3 days to go from coast to coast if you're driving the speed limit.
Well, he had that postal truck. I don't
It
think it would go
wouldn't even
much
do
over
50,
50.
probably.
It probably was
So it took
a
him a week.
5-day trip.
Oh my!
I don't know, you get out on Route 40 there in between Amarillo and Albuquerque, and you're doing like 85 miles an hour, and a state trooper pulls up next to you, and he goes like this. He says, if you don't pick it up, we're going to give you a parking ticket, you know. So,
Yeah.
There's some desolate country out there, man.
man.
You
Beautiful.
get to Santa Rosa and you turn south on this road that goes to Alamogordo. The bunny rabbits are mean on that road, dude.
Well,
Everything out there bites you, sticks you, or eats you. I'm telling you.
first time we made the trip out there, we were taking 40 out on the Will Rogers thing, and then 40 across
Yes.
Oklahoma. We got to around Amarillo, and we decided to go down through Alamogordo and then hit 10 and go out to
Yes.
Las Cruces.
That's a good way of going.
Yeah, that was a little scary at night.
You think?
but
That road, I'm telling you, everything out there bites you, sticks you, or eats you on that road.
it's crazy.
And there's 100 miles of it it's just a road and a railroad track next to you. And if you have a flat tire, well, just pull off in the ditch and leave it, because you're not going to change a tire on that because there's no place to pull off into.
Amen.
It's a different
man.
world out there.
Better bring an extra gas can.
Don't ever let the gas tank get low.
Remind me not to go there.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
Then you need to do it once just to know what it's like.
But you can do it in your own country, Len. All you got to do is drive from the East Coast to the West Coast.
Yeah, you've got the same thing.
Worse even
Yeah.
longer, isn't
I
it?
haven't been across my country. I've only gone as far as one province from my own.
Is that
That was
right?
far enough for me.
I recorded a movie
for the-
yesterday, Len. I recorded
That was
a
for the
movie.
team trials. The team trials 2 years ago. We went to Manitoba. That was far enough for me. I'm
Is
not
yours-
a driver. I do 6 hours in a car and I'm ready to kill somebody.
Oh,
Is
That's
that
enough.
right? Oh my
I
goodness.
can't do it. I cannot sit in a car hour after hour after hour after hour. I will literally lose my mind.
wow.
Can't do it.
Hey, Len,
It's not my thing.
I recorded a movie yesterday, and I've seen this movie before, and it's about Canada. Not a joke. You ever see a movie called The 49th Parallel?
I've heard of it. I've never
Yeah.
seen it.
You ever get a chance, watch it. It's a really good movie.
I will do that. Thanks, Bob. 49th
Set in World
parallel.
War II, where
Oh,
a submarine crew went ashore to get supplies after having torpedoed a boat, and their submarine got sank, and they had to make it all the way across Canada, and they were pretty treacherous people, and finally
Oh,
they got all killed. But
I'm writing that down.
yeah, 49th Parallel. It's a really good movie. Laurence
Yeah.
Okay.
Olivier,
I'll be darned.
It must be in black and white.
Raymond. It's in black and white. Raymond Massey.
It is.
Really
That'd
good
be from
movie.
that'd be from the 40s, probably.
And the scenery is unbelievable.
Wasn't it before the Americans came, before you guys came into the war at that stage?
What's that?
I've got a feeling it was before America came in, before Pearl Harbor, like before the Americans came into the war, was it?
Probably was. Yeah.
Because I think Germans for a while, like, they could travel freely in United States for a while. And I think it was that around about that time.
Yeah.
But I won't say any more because I'm letting the cat out of the bag, aren't I?
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Check it
Are
out.
you
Thank
guys
you.
still iced in up there?
The what?
Still which?
Is most of North America still gripped in ice, or is it getting warmer?
No, it depends on where you look. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was warmer here today. It was above freezing.
We're having a
Oklahoma
really,
was
we're having a really
zero.
unusual warm spell in
Look for about
Colorado right now.
60. We
Here
got about
too.
60
Uh-huh.
degrees here.
65 today here.
Yeah.
A week ago we were
More like-
zero for 3
Yeah.
days, and now we're 70 degrees.
Same thing
It's
here.
more like 35 here today.
If you don't like the weather here, wait 5 minutes. It'll change.
Yeah. The sort of temperatures you guys are talking about, we chill beef or freeze it solid.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was nice for flying the half A today.
Way better than 20
finger-
below.
Yeah, my fingers didn't freeze. It was wonderful. We went
You're
out in the
something, dude.
backyard, got a flight. It was all good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You didn't fly for 6 hours, Len.
No, that's for darn sure.
What's the count, Len? How many days?
Today was day 168. Woo!
Man,
Oh,
you're
well
something.
done.
There's my calendar. I write it down every day.
How
Fabulous.
much fuel you used?
168. What's that?
How much fuel have you used? A cup full yet?
I've used 3/4 of a gallon of half A fuel.
Wow.
Wow.
Did you have to take out a mortgage for that?
Pretty much. That stuff's expensive, but I mean, that's a lot of fuel putting in a baby bee.
Yeah, 20.
You're putting in a half ounce at a time, aren't you?
Yeah, it goes faster than I thought it would.
Well, you waste more. You waste more to start it than you burn, probably.
That's right. Yeah, it's the prime that's killing
The
me.
prime's what's killing you. You quit
Yeah.
burning it.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's
It's all
25%
the
nitro.
priming.
That's 25% nitro.
I'm running 25, but the next jug I do, I'm going to run 35, not 25. It'll run better.
Take out a bigger mortgage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prime it with
I'm just trying to-
10%. What, Lynn?
I'm just 10% useless on half
no,
A's. You can't get a needle.
prime it with 10%.
Oh, prime it with 10. Yeah, that might work. Okay,
Prime it
that's
with
a good
10
idea.
and let it run. See,
Yes, yeah, I should have 2 syringes, one to fill, one to prime, and the
That's
prime
right,
is
'cause
10%.
you use a
got
half
you,
ounce
Joe.
prime in the dumb thing.
I get it. Yeah, I know. It usually takes 2 primes before you have any hope of getting it going.
That's right.
Yeah, it's like having a beer before a whiskey.
That's right.
Yeah, well said.
But 10% would prime it and get it warm. Would
Well, I'm sure you guys have heard of pre-drinking. That's what they talk about nowadays. The young people, you pre-drink before you drink. Well,
I
it's the
didn't
same
know
with
that.
model airplanes trying to start. You pre-prime it a couple of times and burp it a couple of times before it's going to run.
Look, Daddy told me, he said, Joe Mike, if you flood that circle, you know what's wrong with it. It'll start. Flood it and you'll know what's wrong with it.
That's right.
Pretty
Half
low.
A's are a lot of fun.
You know, one thing I'm going to get rid of at the swap meet in case anybody's interested in it here. Like I said, I was having a few things if anybody wanted them, you call me. I have a brand new Pee Wee 020.
Oh my goodness.
Brand new.
Make a
Little
tie
motor.
tack out of it.
If anybody's really interested in 020, give me a call.
Good little motor.
No, it's not in the blister pack, but it's obvious it has never been run. It's not chipped up or anything.
Right.
It's pristine.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're amazing in little motors.
They're great little motors.
Didn't they make a 010?
Yep.
You sure did. I just sold one.
I think that's what people used to make tie tacks out of for real.
Yeah.
They'd make a tie tack out of an 010.
Yep.
Yeah, I have
That's
a
a
brand
tiny
new one
motor.
still in the box. TD010.
Yeah.
Of course, if it started up and started going around your head, you could, choke yourself to death with the tie.
Keith Russell made a 4-engine scale plane with 4 020 010s.
So there's a
Oh
massive.
my God. Only Keith could do it.
I think
That's
so.
Glutton for
Only
punishment.
Keith
right
could
there.
do it. That's awesome. Good
My
for him.
goodness.
I miss Keith. I don't know where he went to, but I miss him.
I talked to him during the week. He's all right. I don't know why he's not on, but he was having spam emails sent out in his name. I don't know if anybody got one or not.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got one too. I talked to him about
I
it.
did too. He was
Called him
okay.
right up, let him know.
I miss him on here. He had some really good stuff to talk about always.
He's a smart guy,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's more than smart. I think he's bloody brilliant.
Okay.
When I looked at some of the stuff that guy's built, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
I wish you could have went to
Unreal.
his house in Tucson and saw his
I
library.
wish I could have went to his
Yeah.
house too.
Oh
Oh
my
my
gosh,
God.
it was the most magnificent thing. The house where he had the library and the sliding ladder running around the walls and the books and the magazines and
Yeah.
the
Did you guys see
B-47s
the-
and oh my
You
gosh.
should see his house
You
in
guys see
Colorado. He's
the
got the
video
entire
that Wendy
basement
put out
now.
today?
Say again?
Wendy put out a video today about being at his house and VSC,
Yeah.
and
That's right.
it was pretty amazing.
Hey
I
guys,
need
it's
to-
our time to wrap up. Let me close this out. You can stay for the after party. The real Steve Smith will be your host. I'm sorry that I had internet problems tonight, but there's not a whole lot I can do.
No problem, Ben.
For people out there in YouTube land, thanks for watching. And you can find us on Stunt Hangar. You could join the program by going to the link at the bench, but you have to be a registered member. So we'll see you later. Fair winds, tight lines.
Hey, Sparky.
Yeah.
Sparky, before you go, I'm
I'm not-
curious.
Hold
How
on.
were your numbers for the hangout last Friday?